What's going on, guys? My name is Zed and welcome to this video. Today I have a Last Week I Watched uploading as we speak. Finished editing that, went to Goodwill, got a good haul here to show you. So I have my high quality H2O and a bunch of movies. So without any further ado, let's get started. So like I mentioned, went to Goodwill, and they had a bunch of really good stuff actually. But unfortunately a lot of it was freaking damaged. And including, so I'm gonna pull all these out. They had a ton. It seems like my Goodwill is starting to kind of create sections of movies a little bit, and they kind of have like a child section, which for me is brilliant because then I don't have to look for all the Disney titles. But it's the end of the shelving unit, and there was a ton of Disney titles there. I wouldn't say the best Disney titles, but Disney titles nonetheless. And a majority of them were hockey pucks. But we did get a handful right here of Disney titles to add to the collection. Definitely some are in better conditions than others, but I believe they will all play. They were the best conditions. So adding Sky High to the collection, full screen edition, which I wish was widescreen, but it was an okay enough condition to where I could justify picking it up. So there's that. And then we have, this is actually replacing a copy of this movie I already had. That is Atlantis, The Lost Empire, which I have. It's actually, if you see that little compartment right here underneath my TV, it's sitting there. The disc just won't read. And this is in okay condition, so hopefully it at least reads. And then next up, one that I'm actually really pumped to get is Fantasia 2000, which I think is the best condition Disney title I picked up today. Yeah, it's mint. So excited to add that to the collection. And then we have a Blu-ray. We have The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, which is in mint condition. I think it's just missing the... No, it's complete. It's absolutely complete. I thought I was missing the DVD for a second, but I think that's another movie that I was looking at that was missing the DVD. Probably the title that I wish was actually in good condition there was a double feature of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Honey, I Blew Up the Kids. But unfortunately, the double feature was missing Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Great. I haven't seen that movie probably since I was a kid, like under 5 years old. And with the remake coming out soon, I really wanted to watch those. I guess I just have to watch them on Disney Plus, but would have loved to add them to the collection. Speaking of additions to the collection, there was a ton of the Tinkerbell original movies there. And the only two that were in good condition were Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure and Tinkerbell Secret of the Wings, which I already freaking owned. Dang it, man. So I picked those up and I already own them. I think here's one of them right here, and then the other one is somewhere, I think. Oh, here it is. So here's the two I already owned, and here are the two that I just picked up. So, I guess I could give those to my little cousin. My disc seems loose. Oh no, it's a little pamphlet that's loose inside. Like, I can give those to my little cousin, and she'll appreciate them. But unfortunately, I already own them. I'll check and see if there's anything missing that I could add to my copies, but it seems to me my copies are pretty much complete. But unfortunately, I already own these, but they were Disney, and I was gonna take a chance. I definitely need to take a weekend and catalog my collection, because it's a big problem when you can't remember exactly what you own. Like, I know a majority of what I own, but when it comes to those Tinkerbell movies, there are so many of them, I can't keep them straight in my head. Same thing with James Bond. I own a good handful of James Bond, but there's like 26 movies to remember, and I I just can't remember those. Take a sip of this high quality H2O again. A little ice cube in there. The only other Blu-ray I picked up was actually factory sealed, and that is Vin Diesel in The Last Witch Hunter, which I know is apparently not a good movie, but again, I can't stress this enough. I love a good classic monster movie, and this is like something of that nature. It's on Blu-ray. I was like, whatever, it's factory sealed, I'll take a chance on it. Speaking of classic monsters, we have Hugh Jackman and Kate Beckinsale and Val. That was anticlimactic because I fucking messed up the title. And Van Helsing, which is a full screen edition. I actually didn't realize that as I picked it up, but that's okay. I've been wanting to watch this movie, and it's been one that I've seen in like the previews that play before your movie. It comes with the bonus disc, the insert, everything. So I mean, hey, it's full screen, but it's complete to the max. So there we go, Van Helsing. This one right here, I actually did a little bit of research when I got home. This is an addition to my Snipper case collection, or Snapper case collection, and that is The Astronaut's Wife, which I think comes to like 14% on Rotten Tomatoes. Unfortunate. There was a good handful of Snapper cases there that I did not already own, but a good majority of them were damaged in some way or another, the disc, the actual case. So The Astronaut's Wife, apparently not a great movie, but an addition to the collection. This is one I totally just picked up on a whim, have never heard of it, and there's like, I don't know why people take off the security thing and just stick it to another random piece of the cover. Like, what is wrong with you? I don't know what's going on here. But that is Robert De Niro in Ronin. Never heard of this movie, at least not to my knowledge. I don't think I've ever heard of it. So I'm gonna pull up my old phone here and do a quick little Google search on it and see Robert De Niro Ronin. This is a 1998 movie, 68% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's a crime thriller. And just the cover looked intriguing. I've only seen Robert De Niro in a couple of movies, like the Fokker movies, The Irishman, Taxi Driver, but I'm not like fully familiar with his catalog of movies. I own a good handful of them, but I just haven't watched them. So a new Robert De Niro movie in my collection. Factory sealed. I've seen this before. It was okay, but I want to give it a rewatch, and that is 21. So yeah. This I'm not gonna be able to pronounce this, but I've seen this once or twice before and I passed up on it. But this one was probably the best condition I found, which is mint condition, and that is Les Miserables, blah blah blah. I don't know, but it's 8 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, 3 winner of 3 Golden Globes, including Best Picture. 5 out of 5 stars from, I can't even read what that's at, the Daily something, and then it's just like, I know that this movie is fucking excellent, but I've never seen it. So Hugh Jackman, Anne Hathaway, Russell Crowe, and Amanda Seyfried. Looks amazing. So there we go. This one's actually kind of a cool pickup. I already own these movies, but I kind of liked they're all in this one set, and that is X-Men: The 3 Film Collection. So the original 3 movies right there, and they're all on individual discs. So we have X-Men, X2, and then The Last Stand. So actually all mint condition, really good pickup. 3 movies in one. Last week on last week I watched Bruce Almighty, which I actually put back right over here. So let me grab that real quick. Alrighty then. I watched Bruce Almighty, but as you can see, mine is the full screen edition. Maybe you can't see because my camera never wants to focus, but it's full screen, trust me. So I have that, and now I have the widescreen edition. So this can go and this can stay. So I know this is not focusing very well, but I don't want to touch my camera because it's like balancing just on the right angle to where it won't fall. But yep, Bruce Almighty, widescreen edition. I already own this movie, but I own it in a multi-feature pack. Or it's like a compilation actually of a bunch of different movies. And that is Night of the Living Dead. And this is the Hollywood Classic Edition. It's technically factory sealed, but I think it's like been resealed, but the security label's still on there. So great to add this to my collection. I love this movie. I think it's great. Next up, we have a movie that I watched for the first time last year, and that is Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor in Moulin Rouge. Really enjoyed this one. It was a recommendation from one of my friends, and she talked very highly of it. She's a singer, and she pulls a lot of inspiration from this movie, so there we go. This is actually supposed to be for another movie. Oh, here it is, back here. I'm trying to. Oh, I stepped on Bruce Almighty. My movies are spread all around my room. A couple of hauls ago, I picked up the Boondock Saints Steelbook, and when I got home, I realized I just got the special features, so the DVD was missing in the Steelbook. Well, I finally tracked down a copy of the Boondock Saints on DVD, and it's mint condition. So though it's technically not the movie that should be in here, it's going in there. So I now have a complete copy of the Boondock Saints on Steelbook. Technically, I will be keeping this just in case, but for now, go with Bruce. And then next up, we'll have a couple more left. Next up, we are completing my Planet of the Apes movie collection with Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. I now own every single Planet of the Apes movie. This is the last one I needed. It is complete. It is a movie that I've only seen most of the way through. It was on TV one night, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, so I was like struggling to stay awake, and ended up just saying, screw it, I'll watch it at another date. But there we go, completing my Planet of the Apes trilogy series, which is fantastic. Next up, another movie that I did not know much about, but it was a snapper case, so I wanted to pick it up to add to that collection, and it's one that I didn't own. And that is 1996's Sleepers, starring Kevin Bacon, Robert De Niro. Oh, I didn't know De Niro was in this. Dustin Hoffman, Jason Patrick, don't know who that is, and Brad Pitt. 73% Rotten Tomatoes. So that's Sleepers. It looked good, which is why I picked it up. It is a flipper disc, which I'm kind of mixed on. But again, I couldn't pass it up. It's a snapper case and I wanted it. And last but not least, we have a 4 film favorites collection, Ice Cube. And I picked this up for, you'll realize why I picked this up. So we have Friday, next Friday, Friday after next, and All About the Benjamins, which I've never heard of this movie whatsoever, but I picked this up for these 3 in particular, and mostly for Friday. I've never seen Friday. I've only seen clips of Friday. I don't own Friday. Every time I find Friday, Friday is destroyed. So now I have Friday, all perfect condition, flipper discs, but that's okay, whatever, it is what it is. But that is it. That is all the movies I have to show off today. Pretty good haul, I would say. Again, I wish more of those Disney titles were in better condition. I probably could have, excuse me, my phone was turning itself off. I probably could have brought home like 15 new Disney titles today if they weren't all completely destroyed. I don't understand how that happens. When I was a kid, though I majority watched on VHS, when I did have a DVD, I wasn't allowed to use as a coaster. I wasn't allowed to play frisbee with the dog. I wasn't allowed to bite on it, and I wasn't allowed to, you know, drive my cars over it and smash my toys into, like, why the fuck do kids ruin discs like they do? I don't get it, because I wasn't that kid. I was so, I don't know, I was a good kid. I wasn't a fucking terror when I was a kid. But anyway, besides the point, I wish more of those were in good condition. And there was like special editions of certain things too, like the Jungle Book, that I already own, but I would love to have that variant cover of it. There's just so much good stuff there. I would have loved to get more Tinkerbell in my collection, man. There was like 3 or 4 different copies of Tinkerbell, or 4 different Tinkerbell movies that I just didn't have, that were all scratched. But anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And until next time, guys, I'll be seeing you later. Peace.